Well, welcome to a new Team CGC 9.8 video, and I brought up my Batman Who Laughs first appearances, Teen Titans 12, and a couple other my Batman Who Laughs comics. But before we get into that, just wanted to remind you to join the team and subscribe to the channel here. And just at this early stage, it's super important we get as many subscribers as we can. And my goal is to get 1,000 subscribers in the first year, and I think that's super attainable. So if you subscribe to the channel, it'd be so much appreciated. But yeah, getting into my Teen Titans number 12 haul. And last year, if you don't know too much about this channel, I'm not much of a modern age guy. But last year, I got turned on to the Batman Who Laughs from just someone at my local comic shop pretty much, who was really into him and was telling me how popular he was. The shop here near me selling a lot of Batman Who Laughs statues. And obviously Teen Titans number 12. So Teen Titans number 12 is the first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. Came out in 2017. And I do have 9.8 white pages of it. And in this issue, basically what happens is the Batman Who Laughs kind of mind controls the Riddler, and sort of from the other dimension, and kind of has the Riddler do his sort of evil deeds on Earth, I guess you could say, and take on the Teen Titans. But as far as like newer first appearances, and I know there's a lot of sort of minor first appearances that come along that the community kind of gets super excited for, but there's usually not many where DC kind of goes with it and makes a whole series on it, and obviously with the Batman Who Laughs mini-series coming out right now. So DC really seems to be running with the character, sort of recognizing how popular it is and running with it. And to me that means likely animated movies coming out and probably a live action movie coming out at some point. And for this I would say in the next 10 years. So a super long time horizon for a kind of a Batman Who Laughs movie. But yeah, I'm really encouraged by the way DC's using the Batman Who Laughs, and is is kind of using him in crossovers now with Batman Superman. I saw that. And also just having like its own, the Batman Who Laughs, his own series is really cool. And yeah, so like and again, there are quite a lot of first appearances, but not one where the company really pushes them and then brings out a new series. So, and especially so soon. So I think in the last couple of years here, the Batman Who Laughs is probably like the one first appearance that you'd want to get. And I wouldn't say it's like an iconic first appearance yet, but it certainly has that possibility. And with Teen Titans 12, this one being the first print, you want to make sure to get the first print. There's those foil convention editions where it's same color but it's foiled. And I think over time, people who want the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs is going to want this issue in the first print, not that foiled edition. So even if this is kind of out of your budget in the 9.8, I wouldn't buy that foil edition. I would just go with rough copies of Teen Titans 12 if this is a little bit out of your budget. My philosophy being with modern books, I do recommend to buy the 9.8 white pages. Anything from the 80s, 90s, and newer, I would say go buy the 9.8 white pages, or just buy a nice rough copy, or a couple nice rough, whatever within your budget. Personally, wouldn't buy like 9.2s, 9.4s, or 9.6s of brand like new books, even from the 90s. They're just so well printed. There's so many out there that if you're thinking about it from a good collection item and even an investment perspective, I would totally recommend to get the 9.8s if you're going CGC with new books, or just buy rough copies. So 9.8 white pages, I had a look on the CGC census, and there are 408 of these in the blue label. 408. That's getting up there for like a book that's only 2 years old. And yeah, a lot of people were telling me, oh, it's really hard to find in a 9.8. Well, being that there's 408 of them, and the graded ratio, so of all CGC graded Teen Titans 12s, 34.5% are 9.8s. So I'm not too familiar with like new book sort of ratios, the 9.8 ratio, because again, I'm kind of like, you know, Bronze Age and Copper Age kind of guy. But yeah, this doesn't seem too low for me. You know, 34.5% of all graded copies are 9.8s. I'm sure in some modern books it gets up to like 50, 60, 70, and I have a couple books that are like that too. But usually those ones are non-keys, or minor keys. So, you know, for a key issue, I think this is, you know, not super rare in the 9.8 or anything, but it is a bit hard to find, I would say. Just, I think with how popular the Batman Who Laughs is becoming, and, you know, with the new miniseries coming out, which is out now, I think you have a lot of people kind of hoarding these and maybe not selling them. And then when people do want to sell them, they're trying to get like absurd prices for them. But actually, speaking of this 9.8 white pages here, there is one on eBay right now, and it looks like a pretty decent auction actually. I believe right now the price was, I think about $200 with, and it ends tonight or tomorrow, I believe. So if you are seeing this on the first day and you really want a Teen Titans 12 9.8, yeah, go on eBay, and there's an auction right now, and I'm pretty sure it's ending tonight, maybe tomorrow. I'm just kind of watching it to see what the price ends, but I'm actually not bidding on it. But yeah, Teen Titans 12 and the 9.8 white pages. So there's this, which is the first appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. I have 3 of them in the rough copy, so I'll just kind of show you. And these I purchased last year. These are all first prints. Purchased last year for anywhere from 60 to 75 Canadian dollars. So which is looking like a pretty good deal right now. They're not perfect. They're not 9.8s. They're basically 9.4 to 9.6. Like 1 or 2 slight dings on the spine, but besides that, they're in really good shape. So yeah, they were 60 to 75 Canadian. I'm kind of seeing now anywhere from like 80 to 120, 130 even American now for Teen Titans 12 on the internet. One with a couple ticks in the spine and everything, maybe about 2 weeks ago now, went for I think it was like $80 American, and a couple ticks in the spine, and they were noticeable. So definitely, I would say that was a very fine to near mint one. These being, yeah, I would say these are 9.4s to 9.6s, because they're really crisp, but just maybe a dink or 2 on the spine. So Teen Titans 12 in the first print, first appearance of Batman Who Laughs. I think if you're looking for any type of like investment collectible book and you're a Batman Who Laughs fan, that's the one to get. My second recommendation would be, I got Dark Knight's Metal 2. These are both first prints, and this is the first cameo appearance of the Batman Who Laughs. And this is also the Mattina Variant cover. Francesco Mattia, I believe it is. Yeah, so this is kind of the Batman Who Laughs variant of number 2. And yeah, I think this one is kind of a sleeper because you can obviously get it in the variant with the Batman Who Laughs on the cover, and being it's his first cameo appearance, this Dark Knight's Metal number 2, I think this one's going to do quite well over time. You know, it'll probably kind of certainly in price trail Teen Titans number 12. That's going to be the first one that everyone wants. But over time, because it has a Batman Who Laughs kind of variant cover, and these are first prints as well, both of these, I think Dark Knight's Metal 2 is a really good option. I bought these off of eBay last year for $25 each, these ones. And yeah, it was from the same buyer too, or the same seller. And he had a couple first prints left, and I believe he has a comic book shop, and was, instead of throwing these up for cover price, trying to get a little more. And I think those are looking pretty good now as well. I think you're looking at like 30 to 40 American in general now. Whereas, yeah, I bought them about $25 Canadian, so maybe $20 American back then, last year. So yeah, second alternative, Dark Knight's Metal 2, the Mattia variant cover. Get the first prints too. I know there's a lot of kind of second and third prints, and I think, you know, sometimes those second or third prints, because they maybe have lesser prints than the first print, they're sometimes worth more in weird situations. But for me, I'm always just a first print kind of guy in general, because that's the one that, you know, first came out in the comic shop. That's actual first appearance. So I like to just have that feeling of getting a near mint comic that is pretty much the exact same it was on the day it came out on the shelf. And that's why I like the 9.8s, and that's kind of why I don't like signature series 9.8s as well. I usually just stick to the blue label, because I just like that whole idea of just, you know, having the comic as it looked on the first day. And yeah, my last recommendation here for Batman Who Laughs is the Batman Who Laughs #1, the Dark Knight's Metal tie-in one-off. And I believe this is the origin of the Batman Who Laughs. And yeah, and this one too, I'd recommend, it's got the foil cover, so I'd recommend the first print in this one too. I think they did some other prints where it's not foil cover. So first print, origin of Batman Who Laughs. So yeah, I mean, if you were a huge Batman Who Laughs fan, like, you know, how I got right into him, I got the origin, I got his first cameo appearance, and then I got his first appearance. And that, I think, is kind of what you want to stick to if you're just a sort of a collector from an investment perspective, kind of a collector. You know, obviously, the Batman Who Laughs, this series is really popular, and, you know, Scott Snyder's doing the story for it, and everyone's really liking the read. So, yeah, you could certainly, you know, get these new Batman Who Laughs books to read. I personally wouldn't really, you know, grade them in the 9.8 or anything. You know, again, if you are kind of looking from an investment perspective and maybe wanting some price appreciation for these issues, I would stick with these 3 issues, in particular these 2 issues more so than this one. Yeah, I think I picked this up for like $15 last year. It's not, I don't think it's really a key, but just, it was a really cool cover last year, and seemed like a normal, or you know, a good addition to the books I already had. So, yeah, at this point, with the Batman Who Laughs coming out with its own mini-series here, and yeah, I think they're on issue 7 or 8, the next one's going to be the last issue. You know, should you still buy these, with the hype being so much? And yeah, personally, I think right now, unless, you know, I'll let you know about that eBay auction where it's like a 1-week auction and someone's trying to get rid of a 9.8. Sometimes on those auctions you can still find a deal, but as far as like buy it nows, I think most people right now selling their Batman Who Laughs stuff are probably going to be trying to get inflated prices for it. So, you know, my 9.8 I bought for 320 Canadian dollars, which is about $250, $260 American. And yeah, I think that is going to be a really good price for a 9.8, CGC 9.8. I've seen one, it was, I think it was a Canadian price, but it almost went for $500 Canadian. So that's putting it at like $350 to $400 American. Teen Titans 12 and the CGC 9.8s right now. And that's, I think, getting a little bit up there. But it's tough because with these modern books, you know, you look at the first Miles Morales, first Spider-Gwen, first Batman Who Laughs, they all have that sort of cycle where I know Spider-Gwen in the 9.8s, I saw one go for, it was over $2,000 Canadian, the end bid. And yeah, even those in a, I saw buy it now on one for, yeah, I think it's Edge of the Spider-Verse 2 or something like that for new Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen. And yeah, all the buy it nows for that are like $700-800. And that one being, you know, a month or 2 ago now, going for over $2,000, it just seems incredibly crazy to me. Yeah, because, you know, like a sort of good a book that I think about for an older book is, you know, Incredible Hulk 340 is about $400 in the 9.8 white pages, and I think that's a really good investment. So, like, I wouldn't be willing to pay over $400 for this. Like, I would just literally buy another Incredible Hulk 340. So certainly, you know, don't pay over $400 American for it. But you know what? This is one because I think the character's so cool, and if you really like the Batman Who Laughs, and if you can find like a weekly auction here and maybe a good deal, I personally would go for it, and you know, maybe try to grab one for around that $300 US mark in the 9.8s. Rough copies right now, for, you know, very fine 80 to 100 near mints, they're getting up to like 100, 150, you know, even for a flawless one, maybe even over 150 for Teen Titans 12. So yeah, you can maybe even pick away at some raw comics too, if they're, you know, again, look out for those weekly auctions rather than the buy it nows. Because yeah, again, buy it nows, when something's really, really popular, almost every buy it now is inflated in price. You know, like I think there's a 9.8 in Canada right now, someone's trying to get $750 Canadian for a 9.8 Teen Titans 12, and that's probably what you're going to run into. So make sure you look for those, you know, 1 week auctions on eBay, and those are the way you're going to get a deal in this kind of crazy environment. And you know, hopefully in the next year or two, if you still like Batman Who Laughs, it kind of calms down the market, and then, you know, in a year or two you could get some better deals and maybe stock up and buy 1 or 2 or 3 of Teen Titans 12s. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to, you know, I want to look for a pretty good deal. I don't want to buy an inflated price comic. So yeah, maybe 1 or 2 more Teen Titans 12s, and maybe another Teen Titans 12 and 9.8 for me, and that'll be done. And yeah, even last year at my Comic Con, they had 2 Teen Titans 12 and they were $80 each Canadian, and I did not buy them, and I should have bought those. So then I would have had 5 rough copies and a 9.8, and that would have probably been enough for me. But Teen Titans 12, Batman Who Laughs right now, I think is probably the best, new, coolest character out there. And you know, whenever something's really cool like that, and usually the first appearances will do pretty well, hold their value, over time do really well. If you're looking in sort of an holding for over 10-year kind of time frame, I think Teen Titans 12 will do really good. And yeah, with a lot of the sort of minor first appearances that happen, I think this is actually kind of a major one happening in, you know, as in one of the more modern comics. So I think it could be worth chasing here, and you know, just look out for deals on Teen Titans 12. First appearance of Batman Who Laughs, I think, is definitely one of the cooler new characters to collect. Okay, so hey, thanks so much for watching the video today. Glad to bring out my Batman Who Laughs collection. I've been kind of waiting to bring it out and make a video on all the issues. But thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't already, please join the team and subscribe to the channel. And again, just at this early time, we need all the subscribers we can. I want to get to 100 as quick as we can, and we're about 20 away from that. So please subscribe to the channel. It'd be so much appreciated. But thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you have a great week. And again, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next video.